And he says, devour him. The demon bats attack with no mercy, using their teeth and claws to tear jackals to pieces. The demon bats screamed and yelled as they made the attack on Jackal. This is the shot you would see. Then Jackal fell to the floor, and Aaron called off his demon bats. And the crowd of onlookers are looking in the background as Jackal lay on the floor, bleeding, torn nearly to pieces. And Aaron kneels down on his knees. And as you can see here, fear fills the followers. They are just fearful of them, and they're totally afraid. And Aaron says, what of you now, Jackal? What of you now? And the mighty traitor who wanted to kill Aaron's dead. And in this moment, Aaron then raised to his feet again and walked a little ways off from Jackal's dead body. He then lowered his head and transformed again. Now he's changing again from the white-haired young man. He changes, and now he's got dreadlocks. He got this star above his eye, and you can see him walking sort of away from Jackal as his body lays here. You see all the onlookers standing there looking back there. And it says, Aaron knew he had put fear into the hearts and minds of his followers. Aaron then slowly walked back up the stairs. Aaron's followers were left with fear and astonishment and amazement. Now you see all have changed. This was Taboo the Witch. This was Bel the Demon Cyclist. He's also changed. And this was Tiamat the Evil Wizard. And this is how Aaron looked now. He managed to cover up his skeleton arm. And now they got the appearance of musicians. And that's what Aaron says. Is there anyone else that wishes to challenge me? If so, speak now. Now that we have an understanding, we may continue. But before we continue, let us remember the things we suffered at the hands of mankind. Now Aaron sits at the head of the table. As they say nothing, they just listen as he speaks. Now this is his wife Taboo, remember. This is Bel the Demon Cyclist, the guy who can't walk. And this is Tiamat the Evil Wizard, the one who constantly replacing his body parts, but now you see they look human. Look sort of like a rock band. And Aaron continues. They abused us because we were different than they. And they killed many of our people because they didn't follow or live by their laws. For 2,000 years, I have waited to come back and delete man from the face of this planet. I have said this to you before. Now I will say it again. We must not fight mankind the way we fought them the first time. And then Aaron explained the reason why they lost their first fight. Listen to me carefully, my followers. The reason we were defeated the first time by man was their faith in God. But mankind have turned from their God. And now this is our favorable time to destroy them in their faithlessness. And that's the plan that Aaron uses. They disguise themselves as musicians. And that's where this particular plan is hatched. And Aaron stands up at the head of the table. And he could continue, but man has left their God. And this is our time to strike mankind down forever. I will not be defeated by man again. Then Tim might ask, then how will we fight them, Master? There will be a sign. But before that line comes out, he says, we will use their own devices to defeat them. But now is not my time. There will be a sign first. And his wife, Tabu, asked, what will the sign be, my king? And he says, the sign will be a star will destroy the dragon. Aaron's three followers had no understanding of what Tiamat was speaking of at the time. Then Aaron began to laugh loudly and madly. And that's my bookmark. As we go over to the second sketch pad, and the story will continue in storyboard format. And this is what you see as that scene fades out and this scene comes in. You see the GR1 rescue ship flying between the mountains, and you see ruins beneath them, and you see inside the ship. And it's at the top. Nearby, Captain Star's search party searched the destroyed ruins of a desert village. And we go to this scene. Now Tom gets, he starts picking up life signals from life form below, but they're far away. And Captain Star asks, what is the location of the life form? And he says, first he asks, Captain Star, I'm picking up an unidentified life form over my scanners. And that's when he asks the question, where is the location of the life form? It's coming from that village beneath us. Take us down so we can check it out. And he says, yes, sir. And contact the others and let them know of our progress. And that's what you pretty much see. This with the camera angle will actually show the viewer on screen. And then you move into it. He gets up from his seat, and that's when he gives the order to take him down, and the scene goes on. The next shot will actually see them landed and the landing gear down and the hatch open as they enter this cave near this ancient ruin, because this is where the life form is coming from. At the moment, it's unidentified. And they enter the cave, and you see the light sort of flash off the rocks, and everything sort of shadowy and dark. This will be a back shot as they enter the cave. And the light shines across treasure laying in the corner of the cave. You see gold, you see money, you see gold coins, and you see money scattered loose on the floor of the cave. And you can hear someone shouting, "It's money!" And you see their faces light up. I knew I smelled money. And Brigitte says, "Look at all the gold." And this is Darby. He's a young co-pilot, and he shouts out, "We're rich!" And they all went running into the cave to the money hang, and Captain Star sort of just stands there looking at them. And he says to himself, "Look at them run through the money and gold, filled with greed. They forgot about our mission." That's thoughts that's going through his head as they're over in the corner picking up the bags, filling all the money, and Tom's actually pouring some money on them like it's water or something. And Star basically standing in the background looking at him. I can't believe this. And then Star angrily says, "Put the money back. That's not the reason we're here." And they sort of ignores him, and he pulled his pistol out and shot the bag of gold out of Tom's hand, and shock was coming in their face. They couldn't believe that he actually done that. "You could have killed me." "Then you should have listened to my orders. I told you to put it back. That's not the reason we're here." At this moment, at that moment, a loud sound comes from the floor of the cave, and the gold demon comes from the floor. And when he comes up, he knocks bags of gold and gold coins that were actually scattered by the floor. He just throws it everywhere. And he sort of slaps, throws the greedy threesome across the floor. And you can see Captain Star standing in the corner over here. And you can see the look on his face as the gold demon sort of shouts out loud, "Get out of my tomb." And he throws them out onto the floor. And they sort of huddle together here and screaming for their lives, talking about shouting for Captain Star to shoot the demon or shoot the monster. He's gonna kill us and all this. And the gold demon just stands there and look. And Captain Star lowers his gun because the creature is not making any threatening moves. He's just standing there, breathing hard as they're. You see how big the eyes are, how frightened they are. They all huddled together on the floor of the cave. And the creature just slowly approaches Captain Star, and he sort of gets cautious, but he doesn't raise his gun in any threatening way. And they in the background shouting to him, "Shoot, shoot, he's gonna kill us." And the creature states, "You're not frightened of me, are you?" And he says, "Do I have a reason to be? You didn't come for my gold. No, I have no need of your gold." So you see the creature you can pretty much read that Captain Star is not after the gold. And the creature sort of asks him, "Why are you there then?" And he said he's looking for lost companions. And they came into his cave by mistake because of the unidentified life form signal. And the creature says, your companions were planning to steal my gold, but you stopped them. Why?" And he replies, "We didn't come to steal your gold. My companions became overwhelmed with the sight of all the gold and money." And the creature sort of reasons within himself that he is telling the truth. And you can see that they're still like they're just dumbfounded. They can't believe he actually communicated to this monster talking. And Captain Star says, We were looking for a lost companion of ours. We will leave you alone and go our own way. And then the creature, you and your companions may go in peace. And he states as the three companions run out, screaming, and Captain Star still stands there looking. And he tells him as he starts to go, you will find your missing companions. I have no conflict with you. You can leave. And that's when, in this particular scene, everything goes to that. And it says, Captain Star and the search party leaves the cave and returns to their ship. George was disappointed in Brigadier Tom and Darby because of their greed for the gold and money. They had also forgotten about their mission to find Susan and Frank's missing blazer unit. Now, at this point, Tom attempted to apologize, but Captain Starr told him to forget about it, and they returned to the ship. And that's when we go to the next scene in the desert. And it says, elsewhere at that moment, in the desert, wasteland, Guru and his party of dragon soldiers takes Franklin, Susan, and the 5 security officers to a place of execution called the Pit of Man-Eaters. And this will be a four-shot, and you see shadowy figures walking across the desert. And then the camera will come in as a side shot as they walk. So, something like that to be walking. And there's a line. And Susan says, Frank, I feel Bruce nearby. I don't know how, but I do. And this back shot will be shown as they make their way, as they make their way to the execution pose. And you see the sun shining bright above the desert as they make that journey to death. And then Franklin turns and orders, place them on the execution pose. And then placed on the execution pose with their hands above their heads, chained above their heads. And you see down below skeletons of others who've already been executed. The dragon soldier stands there, and you see Guru stands there. And you see Susan, Franklin, and the 5 security officers in the background. And then that's when Guru make a proposition. What is happening to you need not be. Just say you'll be mine, and I'll set you free. And she opens her eyes and says, never. Now, Guru couldn't believe that she rejected him. So he offered her money and everything else, and she still said no. And out of his anger, he orders, put them all to death except the woman. Then Susan starts to beg for her shipmate not to be put to death, and he turns and says, you had your chance. And he says, dragon guards kill the human males. And Franklin and 5 security guards are beheaded. And Susan looks on as her shipmates have been killed. She screams out and says, "No, don't." And Guru's still in the background, smiling. As the heads are cut off, and you can see right here in the corner, as Franklin's head flies off when the axe has been swung down, his head flies off. And at that moment, from the picture, he screams, and you have a back shot of Guru looking into the pit. And in the pit, this is what the camera and the viewer would see. If the camera they can hit death above, and now they're already eat now. The camera, basically humans that's living in the pit, and this is where the dragon people take those who have broken their laws to, and they feed it to other humans who are denied food and water, they're denied freedom, and the only way they can eat is by eating other humans. And this is what they're diseased, they are deformed. And then Guru continually to taunt Susan. She hangs there in shock and crying. He walked over to the pit and kicked Franklin's head into the pit, and the camels went into a feeding frenzy. And that's where I'm gonna end it at.